possibly falling over you right now. A lot of heavy rain and a lot of intense lightning as well. So all of this is slowly moving off towards the east at about 30 miles per hour. This will continue again to push down Highway 27 in towards the Whitesburg area. And we're going to be continuing to watch this. And the good news is, though, it is very broad rotation. So when I put the velocity back on the map here, you can see that we don't have, even as we zoom in here, we don't have a lot of that bright green on bright red, but we do have it close enough together that the National Weather Service has deemed it necessary to have a tornado warning. And we got a new scan here, so let's go ahead and take a look for where we are looking at that. So again, still holding steady right along US 27. For folks over near Little New York Road, over in towards Old Stagecoach Road, East Highway 5, Main Street in Whitesburg. All of this is going to be heading in your area over the course of the next 20 minutes or so. So we're going to continue to watch this and monitor this, and we're going to stay with you until the warning expires here. And as we take a look, that is going to be at 8:15. So another 45 minutes. Hopefully we can get this cell out of the polygon before then. Polygon being that red shape that's flashing there. That's what's going to be the potentially area that has the tornado in it. And again, this is not your classic tornado spin up. This is going to be very short-lived. It's going to be very weak, which is on the good side, but obviously for those who are affected by any potential tornado that's going to be making its way into the area, it's not going to be great news for you. So again, this is going to continue to move down US Highway 27. Anybody in Whitesburg, I really want to emphasize that, anybody in the Whitesburg area, please go ahead and find your safe place. That's going to be the lowest level of your home in the most interior room possible. So if that's a closet or a stairwell or a bathroom, that's where you need to be. If you have a basement, that is ideal. You want to be on the side of the basement that's going to be underground if you have one of those basements that's kind of sloped underneath the house. So what we're going to be continuing to watch, though, is that potential for this spin up. And I want to go back and look because we're not seeing as much of that rotation here on this next scan. So that's always some good news there. We're going to continue to monitor that. You see me looking over here onto the side. It's because I'm seeing new information starting to pop up from the National Weather Center. All right, so the rotation is significantly weaker. So that's some good news. So they do think they may cancel this warning early. Might not last until 8:15, but we're going to continue to stay with you while it is active. Again, anybody in Whitesburg, anybody in northern Coweta County, specifically in the Yates area, Roscoe, Redwine, Dunaway Gardens, this is going to be heading in your direction as we go in towards the next 20, 30 minutes or so. And even if they do end up dropping the warning, I want to just emphasize this is a line of very strong thunderstorms that continues to move off towards the east. So for this particular line, it's stretching from Douglasville, where we're seeing the potential for some 40, 50 mile an hour winds, all the way in towards the Whitesburg area, back down to Heard County. And as it continues to slide off towards the east, we're going to monitor this area for the stronger storms, but also the potential for spin-ups. So for folks into the central Hatchie area, this is going to be moving in your direction about 7:36. The strong storms moving towards Douglasville at 7:39. Whitesburg, it's going to be moving your way by 7:41. Lithia Springs, 7:49, Noonan, Palmetto, just after the 8:10, time frame. Fairburn, 8:19, Ainsley Park at 8:21, and then possibly even Midtown Atlanta as we get towards 8:20 as well. Again, I'm timing out the whole line of storms, though, not just the tornadic part, but this is the strong line of storms that we've been continuing to watch as we've gone throughout the afternoon. But the tornado threat itself is going to be here in East Carroll County, just south of the city of Carrollton, over towards the city of Whitesburg. And again, it's going to continue to move a little bit towards the south of east as we go into, there we go, we've got a new scan in here now. Let's go ahead and time this one out for you. This is basically just traveling directly down it's not an interstate, Highway 27. So Whitesburg, this is going to be heading into your area as we head towards 7:52. So we're going to continue to watch and monitor this because the National Weather Service has not dropped the warning quite yet. The other thing I want to emphasize is there is still a lot of lightning with this storm, and we're continuing to watch the lightning develop over the tornado warning area. And whenever we start to see tornadoes form, typically they do happen with a lot of lightning. So that's one of the things that we would look for in this line of storms to see where the strongest part of it is. And you can see earlier today, the strongest of the storms were in North Georgia. up into the Pickens, Lumpkin County area, over towards Gilmer and Fannin. Right now, we're starting to see this southern line start to develop and become a little bit more prolific. That's what's caused this tornado warning over Carroll County, but it's also what's causing the severe thunderstorms that are about to move into LaGrange and down in towards Heard County as well. So anybody over towards Franklin and into the LaGrange area, keep in mind the thunderstorms that are moving your way are severe. The main threat is the strong, damaging straight line winds as we go into the evening hours. But as we're seeing right now in Carroll County, large hail and possibly tornadic rotation can't be ruled out there as well. So I'm going to turn over and put another graphic up real quick because I want to show you it's not just the tornado warning we're paying attention to tonight. We're also going to be looking for the threat for severe weather across most of North Georgia. And you'll notice that's going from LaGrange, Upson, Butts County, all the way up through the metro area, and then as far north as Hall County, Lumpkin County, and Pickens County. So this is going to be lasting until 11 o'clock. This is a severe thunderstorm watch for that line of showers and storms that's continuing to push into the area. And we're already seeing that potential play out in the form of those severe thunderstorms that are down into Alabama, but also for this particular cell over east central Carroll County. As we zoom in again, we're starting to get a little bit more data and a little bit more scans in here. So let's look and see. Honestly, not really seeing anything in terms of rotation anymore. So that's some great news there. Warning though is still up, which means anyone in the Whitesburg area needs to go ahead and find your safe place. Same for Banning, Byers Crossroads, over in towards the East Highway 5 area, Big Oak Road, Black Dirt Road, Main Street. If you live in any of these areas of Whitesburg, particularly where Carroll County and Coweta County start to come together, please go ahead and find that safe place. The good news is for folks in Carrollton, Clem, Oak Mountain, Cross Plains, at least the rotation of the system has moved beyond you and will continue to slide down towards the south and east. Again, lots of lightning with this system and this cell as it continues to push off and down towards the southeast. And we'll continue to watch that cell. I also want to kind of point out, even though we don't have a severe thunderstorm warning on it, we are seeing the potential from Ackworth down to Kennesaw, Powder Springs, Marietta, Lithia Springs, Douglasville. This line of storms is looking at least 40, 45 mile an hour winds with it as it moves off towards the east. So for folks into Cobb County, into Douglas County, Fulton County, this is going to be heading in your direction as we go into the next hour or so. I want to kind of time this out for you because it is moving into heavily populated areas, again, moving off towards the east. So Kennesaw, it's on top of you right now. Powder Springs is going to be moving at about 741. Kennesaw State University, 743. Lithia Springs, just a few more minutes at 745. Clarkdale, 746. Austell, 748. Marietta, 750. And then as we head towards the top of the hour, looking at Smyrna. And then if it's holding together, Fulton County with Roswell and Sandy Springs by the time we get to about 8:10 to 8:15. So just a very potent line of storms continues to roll through North Georgia. This tornado warning itself continues to play out here in the Carroll County area, moving closer and closer to northern Coweta County, but the warning itself does not quite extend that far down towards the south. It really is, though, and it has been as we've gone through the evening, just pushed down Highway 27 towards Whitesburg. The good news is, though, if we go back and look, I want to show you some of the past radar scans. You can kind of see where we did have some earlier rotation about 20 minutes ago. It's basically in this area where we kind of have this little, you see that circle there around between the green and the red there. And the green and the red are just two different wind directions. One's moving towards the radar, one's moving away from the radar. So whenever you have both next to each other, it gives you the indication that there's some rotation within the atmosphere itself. The good news is, though, that has started to weaken as it's moved down Highway 27. So folks in Whitesburg, I want to emphasize, even though it looks like the rotation is weakening, what we are going to be seeing is very heavy rain, lots of lightning, and maybe some hail as well. So let's go ahead and take a look and see where that potential is. The hail threat itself is actually a little bit farther to the south of the warning. So it's going to be in southern Carroll County, northern Heard County. So folks from Rooteville over to Start Point, Glenluck, Lowell, over towards Yellow Dirt. This is where we're seeing the potential for some very large hail. In fact, 1-inch hail possible in this area. That's roughly the size of a quarter and can definitely do damage to your vehicle. So if you do live southern Carroll County between Rooteville and Central Hatchie in Heard County, I should say, go ahead and move those cars indoors. That hail threat, unfortunately, could do some significant damage to your vehicle, and that's not exactly what you want as we head in towards your Saturday night and into your Sunday. Going back towards reflectivity, this is kind of showing us where the heaviest of the rain is. Seeing some weakening with the cell, even on the reflectivity. So that's some great news there. We're going to be seeing, still though, the heaviest rain south of the warning itself. That's where we have that hail potential as well. And that's going to be in southern Carroll County around highway, as we click on the button here, around highway, of all the times for the computer to freeze. I do apologize to that for you. All right, so we do now see that the warning has been trimmed down just a little bit. We're continuing to watch, though, it move into the Whitesburg area. So they've decided not to cancel the warning out, but they are continuing to show some slight signs of rotations. Again, if you see me looking down to the side, that's me looking down at the chat and talking with the National Weather Service to see that the rotation is still enough for them to want to continue this warning as we go through at least the next 5 minutes or so. And then they're watching the rotation currently just west of Whitesburg. So I'm not seeing too much here on the radar. We have to stay with you, though, as long as this warning is in effect. So again, I do apologize for those who are watching their programming. But this is the area that they're watching right here. So they're seeing the circulation in the mid-levels of the atmosphere, and in a little bit into the lower one, you can just see everything kind of just moved over to the side. So yet another scan. I don't expect this warning to stay too much longer because it's about to move outside of the warning. Highway 5 here in 27, right in the heart of Whitesburg, is where we're looking at that rotation. It looks like it's going to continue to move at least towards the southeast, about 20 miles an hour. So folks in Yates, Dunaway Gardens, Roscoe, Redwine, especially folks between Highway 5, Big Oak Road, Daniel Road, Sewell Mill Road, and over in towards the Dyer Road area in Yates. This is going to be heading in your direction very, very quickly. If you haven't already, we do recommend you make your way into the lowest level of your home, into your safe place, and make sure that you have at least something in there that can help to cover your head and protect you and your family. You know, we don't recommend that you go outside and try and take pictures or try and look at it and try and find it, because with a cell like this, you're not going to be able to see it. It's most likely rain wrapped within the actual storm itself, mainly because there's just so much of that rain in and behind the system. And again, outside this warning is where we actually have the heaviest rain and the largest hail threat. That's going to be over towards Lowell, moving down Highway 5 over into the Whitesburg area, and moving in towards southern portions of Douglas County as well, with the heaviest of the showers. Again, this whole line of storms as we zoom out is extending from the North Carolina state line all the way now through metro Atlanta, and then pushing down into the LaGrange area, and then trailing back down I-85 into Montgomery. And it's a pretty prolific line of showers and storms that are going to continue to move into the area. We're going to watch this move into the city of Atlanta as we go into the next half hour or so. And again, most of these storms are strong, but they're not at the severe level. But they are still strong enough that they can do some damage. And again, we're going to be looking for the potential for some pop-up isolated tornadoes. They will be very short-lived tornadoes, the ones that do develop. But as we've seen in the past with some of the storm systems that we've had roll through over the past few weeks, you don't need a large tornado lasting a long time before you start to see a lot of that damage there. So it's one of those things that unfortunately we are going to be dealing with as this line continues to move through. We expect it to clear to the metro area over the next hour or so, but it won't be out of the viewing area until we get in towards about 10, 11 o'clock at night. I think that's when we start to get this line moving through the Athens area and then over towards Eatonton as well. And again, that severe thunderstorm watch is in effect until 11 p.m. That's the National Weather Service's way of saying, hey, folks in this yellow shaded area, which is all of metro Atlanta, extending north up into Lumpkin, Pickens, and Hall counties, and then down to the south as you travel towards Macon and Columbus, you know, you have the potential, the atmosphere is ripe for severe thunderstorms, mainly straight line wind damage, but also, as we're seeing right now, the potential for rotation within the atmosphere that could be triggering a tornado warning. And that's what we're seeing for folks over into Carroll County. If you're not seeing the rotation in your area, that's great news. It's in the far southeastern portion of the county, right in the Whitesburg area. In fact, this thing is right on top of Whitesburg right now, and we'll continue to watch the hail threat for this just to the west. So I want to emphasize for folks into Whitesburg, even though you're under the tornado warning right now, once the potential rotation moves through your area, you are still going to be seeing the threat for some very large hail, possibly up to a quarter-inch, or I should say a quarter-sized hail, which is about 1 inch in diameter, that will continue to slide through. So you have kind of all three threats for severe weather moving through your area in southern Carroll County. We have the tornado warning with the rotation, we have the damaging straight line winds, and then we also have the large hail that's going to be pushing through. And again, for folks into Carroll County, This is going to be moving off towards the south and east. So even though you're not in the warning, I do want to emphasize folks in South Fulton County, over towards the Palmetto area, into Coweta County. So Noonan, these strong storms are going to be rolling in your direction. You'll be seeing some very strong winds and the potential for some large hail with this system as well. And we'll watch for the potential for some isolated spin-ups as we head into the rest of the evening. Overall, though, we're continuing to watch this line of storms in the West Metro push off towards the east. Let's go ahead and time this one out just for you again. So just to the east of Canton, all the way now, pretty much following the Chattahoochee River, if you're familiar with that, moving off towards the east at about 30 miles per hour. So what that's going to do, bring it into Mapleton about 750, Smyrna 755, Roswell 803, Alpharetta looking at 808, Sandy Springs looking at about 809, and then as we head in towards the metro Atlanta area, especially the city of Atlanta proper, probably about 816 for the downtown and the midtown areas. And again, the only warning we have right now is this one tornado warning. It's unfortunately that one little area in southern Carroll County moving towards Coweta County that we're now seeing that rotation. And we have a new scan in, so let's take a look. Yeah, it looks like the rotation for the most part has pretty much just washed out of this cell. As we take a look, it looks, yep, in fact, with this latest scan, the National Weather Center has taken down the tornado warning for Carroll County, so the threat has passed. If we continue to see more development and more rotation coming into the rest of the evening, we will broadcast and break in for you, but otherwise we will return you to your regularly scheduled program. Okay, so I'm hearing we got a little bit of a snafu, so I'm going to stay with you for just a moment here while we fix that. So again, no active warnings at this time. We're going to continue to see showers and thunderstorms roll across North Georgia with that severe thunderstorm watch in effect for the 11 o'clock hour. Meanwhile, we're seeing the heaviest storms now rolling in through the Atlanta area. So folks in Alpharetta, Johns Creek, Dunwoody, strong storms are going to be rolling into your area as we head in towards the next 10 to 20 minutes or so. Folks in Buckhead, Midtown, and downtown Atlanta, this is going to be rolling through again in about the next 20 to 25 minutes. Douglasville, the worst is behind you. It's now over Lithia Springs heading towards Austell, and we're going to be continuing to showing that. You see me, I'm looking, someone's asking if they're going to be issuing any warnings for this particular cell that we're looking at right here. And they're not looking at doing so at this time, so that's some good news. Carroll County, we're going to be looking at the potential for some large hail with that cell that we've just been talking about. The next round of storms that we're going to be watching is moving in towards the Roanoke area in our Alabama County. So folks over into Randolph County, some very strong storms are rolling into your area and then about to push over the Alabama-Georgia state line in towards Heard and Troup County. So LaGrange and Franklin, these are going to be rolling your way. Again, strong damaging straight line winds are going to be pushing in towards the east, and we're going to be watching this actively as we head throughout the rest of the evening. I think, though, for the most part, what we're really going to have to watch is this portion moving into the metro Atlanta area right now. That's where we start to see the potential for some very intense cloud-to-ground lightning. We're going to be looking at some very heavy rains and then also the potential for some large hail. So again, we'll continue to monitor this as we head into the rest of the evening. As of right now, though, we have that severe thunderstorm watch until 11 p.m., but no active warnings are at this time. So we will go ahead and release you and return you to your regularly scheduled program.